Man, let me explain something to you straight. The world is not fair. It is not balanced. It is not designed for you to win. The world is a casino, and the second you were born, you were forced into the game. Nobody asked you. Nobody gave you a choice. They just put you at the table and stacked the odds against you. And like every casino on the planet, the house always wins. You can lie to yourself. You can pray. You can hustle. You can sit there hoping luck will save you, but luck is a fantasy. The truth is simple. The system is built to bleed you dry while you clap for crumbs. And the most brutal part, they've been perfecting this scam for generations. Your parents were in it. Your grandparents were in it. And now you're in it. A cycle of slaves who think they're free because the lights are bright and the music is loud. School was your first table, your first taste of the game. You thought you were learning. You thought this was preparation for the future. No, it was programming. Sit down. Shut up. Raise your hand. Memorize this bullshit. Do not question. Do not create. Just obey. They fed you history written by the winners, stripped of truth. They gave you watered down math. Just enough to calculate your taxes, but never enough to understand how money truly works. They trained you to regurgitate information like a parrot, not to think like a man. And at the end, they handed you a piece of paper and told you it meant you were free, educated, ready for life. That certificate wasn't freedom. It was proof you'd been domesticated. You're not educated. You're conditioned. You're a dog that learned to sit on command and you smile while showing off your obedience badge. And then they tell you you're ready for the so-called real world. Translation, they're chaining you to another table with higher stakes. That 9-to-5 job is nothing but a slot machine. Every morning you pull the lever when you clock in. Every evening you pull it again when you clock out. You hope for a jackpot that never comes. A raise here, a fake title there, maybe a shiny little plaque if you're especially obedient. And like a fool, you clap for your own chains, smiling while your best years are being stolen from you. That job was never about freedom. It was never about security. Security is the leash they put around your neck. The 9-to-5 exists to keep you exhausted, distracted, and broke enough to never walk away. They've got you chasing bullshit rewards that never add up while your life is being drained into their machine. The media is the dealer, slick and smiling, making sure you stay hooked. Every screen you stare at, every headline, every commercial. It's another flashing light meant to keep you blind. They sell you fake happiness, fake love, fake success. They pump you full of dopamine hits until you're addicted. You think you're making choices, but fuck no. Every choice you make has already been written into the script. What you admire, what you buy, what you believe. All of it was chosen for you before you were even born. And you sit there like a good little player, eating it up, never questioning why it all feels so hollow. That's the design, man. They want you chasing illusion so you never notice the truth. You were never meant to win. You were meant to play. And playing means losing. Most men never wake up. They will die in this casino bragging about scraps like dogs showing off bones. Posting their lease car on Instagram, flexing a vacation paid for with debt, celebrating a useless job title that means nothing outside the office. They think they're winners, but they're not. They're losers who believe they've won because the house gave them crumbs. The house lets you taste small victories to keep you loyal, but the second you try to play big, the rules change. Suddenly there are taxes, fees, fines, interest rates. Every path out is blocked. Every escape turns into another trap. And they remind you fast, you're not the player. You're the product. You're the chip being moved around the table, traded, discarded, used. And instead of revolting, most men accept it. They smile. They call it normal. They call it life. But it's not life. It's slavery disguised with neon lights and background music. Banks, corporations, governments. Don't be a fool. They're not competing. They're not separate. They're all dealers at the same table, and the house owns them all. They give you the illusion of freedom, the illusion of choice, but the truth is they own everything. Your time, your money, your attention, even your dreams. They don't want independent men. They don't want strong thinkers. They want obedient slaves who pay taxes, follow orders, and never ask dangerous questions. That's why they flood you with entertainment, with distractions, with fear. That's why they punish the men who step out of line. Because if too many men walked out of the casino, the entire game would collapse. And they know it. That's why they fight so hard to keep you blind. Here's the reality, man. You cannot beat the house at its own game. You can study the rules, memorize the tricks, hustle harder than anyone else, but as long as you're sitting at their table, you lose. Always. The only way to win is to stop fucking playing. Flip the script. Walk away from their tables. Build your own. That means discipline. That means rejecting the easy lies and embracing the hard truths. That means cutting through the bullshit illusions and creating a path they cannot control. Freedom is expensive, and most men are too scared to pay the price. But if you're not willing to pay, then accept your chains. Admit you're a willing slave. The house doesn't care. The house doesn't cry. The house will take your chips, your time, your life, and never blink. Man, the longer you sit in this casino, the more you realize it's not just stealing your money. It's stealing your spirit. They design every system around you to keep you weak, quiet, and obedient. And the trick is they make you believe this is just life. Stress, bills, exhaustion, struggle. They tell you it's normal. It's not normal. It's conditioning. The casino survives because you believe in it. You believe the lies. You believe the fake hope. You believe the idea that if you just keep playing long enough, one day it will be your turn to win. But it won't. The game is wired. The second you start to get ahead, they shift the rules. You're not a participant. You're not a competitor. You're a resource. And resources are used, drained, and replaced when they're empty. That's the reality men don't want to face. Look at the 9-to-5 grind. That shit is legal slavery with a smiley face slapped on top. You drag yourself out of bed, sit in traffic, go to a job you probably hate, give them your time and your energy, and what do you get? A paycheck that's already spent before it even hits your account. Rent, bills, groceries, taxes. By the time you breathe, it's gone. That's not bad luck. That's not poor planning. That is the fucking design. They want you tired. They want you broke. They want you busy. Because a man who is tired, broke, and busy never questions the system. He never has the energy to step back and say, wait, why the fuck am I doing this? He just keeps pulling the lever every morning, waiting for a jackpot that doesn't exist. And the house laughs because they know you won't leave. The media is filth, man. The dirtiest dealer in the room. And you idiots think news is about information. News is about programming. Every headline is crafted to keep you afraid or keep you angry because fear and anger are distractions. While you're panicking about the crisis of the week or screaming about politicians, the house keeps draining you. Entertainment is no different. Movies, shows, music. It's all fake images designed to sell you a dream you'll never live. They show you beauty, fame, money, power, but behind the curtain, it's the same casino running those lives too. The house controls the idols you worship. The more you stare at them, the less you build yourself. That's the scam. They want you chasing illusions, so you never have time to construct reality. And then there's social media, the shiniest slot machine on the floor, designed to keep you hooked. Scroll, like, click, comment. Dopamine hits over and over. You think you're connecting with people, but you're not. You're being farmed. Your attention is being sold. Your data is being packaged. Your thoughts are being shaped. And the more you scroll, the weaker you become. Social media is not free. You are the product. They are selling you piece by piece while you laugh at memes and argue with strangers. That is not connection. That is not freedom. That is a digital prison with neon lights in the sick part. Most men willingly lock themselves in and throw away the key. They can't even see the bars because they're too distracted by the flashing lights. Even family and friends become part of the trap. Nobody wants to admit this, but it's true. The people closest to you, the ones who love you, often hold you back the most. They tell you to be safe, play by the rules, keep your head down. They think they're protecting you, but all they're doing is keeping you inside the casino. They're so deep in the game that they can't imagine anything outside of it. So when you try to break free, they drag you back. That's why most men stay stuck. They're more afraid of disappointing their family than they are of disappointing themselves. But here's the truth. If your family's love depends on you staying weak, broke, and obedient, then they don't love you. They love the version of you that fits into the system. And that version of you will die miserable and unfulfilled. Man, the education system, the 9-to-5 grind, the media, fake relationships. It's all the same machine. Everything is designed to control every second of your life so you never stop to breathe, to think, to question. And whenever you start asking dangerous questions, they throw you distractions. A new gadget, a political scandal, a sports championship. It's bread and circuses, the same trick they used in ancient Rome, just wrapped in shiny packaging. And it works. Most men spend their entire lives in this loop. They think they're living, but they're not. They're existing. They're waiting to die while the house collects every chip off the table, one by one. Here's what makes it even worse. The system doesn't even hide it. They brag about it. They joke about politicians being bought. They make movies about corruption. They laugh in your face about the rich dodging taxes. And you still don't get it. You still think if you just work hard, keep your head down, play fair, you'll be rewarded. That is the biggest lie in human history. The rich do not play fair. They never have. They never will. They play a different game with different rules. And they make sure you're never invited. The rules they give you are chains. The rules they give themselves are keys. And as long as you play by their rules, you'll never hold the key. Understand this, man. The system is not your friend. It is not here to protect you. It is not here to reward you. It is not here to give you opportunity. It is here to use you. It will take your time, your energy, your money, and when you are empty, it will replace you with someone younger, someone hungrier, someone just as blind. That's the cycle. That's the casino. Players come and go, but the house always wins. The only question is whether you're going to keep feeding it or whether you're going to wake the fuck up and walk away. Man, the most dangerous illusion this casino sells you is freedom. They make you think you're free because you can vote, because you can buy shit, because you can travel on holiday twice a year. That is not freedom. That is a leash with more length on it. Real freedom means power over your life, calling your own shots, building your own table. What they give you is fake freedom, fake options, fake choices designed to keep you trapped. And it's powerful enough to fool most men. You get a day off, a little holiday, you buy yourself a car, and for a moment you feel in control, but you're not. All of it is temporary. All of it is rented. All of it funnels you straight back into the system. That's not freedom, man. That's a decorated cage. And the majority of men live and die in that cage without ever realizing the lock was never on the outside. Money is the dealer's favorite trick. They sell you the fantasy that if you just earn more, life will get easier. But the more you earn, the more they take. Taxes strip you, inflation robs you, debt chains you. Every dollar you make is already claimed before it even hits your hand. And the harder you chase it, the more they tighten the noose. Because once you build a lifestyle, you chain yourself to it. The big house, the shiny car, the designer clothes. They're not proof of wealth. They're proof of slavery in a more expensive uniform. Real wealth isn't how much money you bring in. Real wealth is freedom. The freedom to walk away, the freedom to call your own shots. And in this casino, they'll never let you buy enough freedom to walk away. The moment you start stacking too high, they move the goalposts. They'll remind you the house has more chips than you'll ever touch. Look at debt, man. That shit is their favorite weapon. They hand it out like a drug dealer passing free samples, credit cards, student loans, mortgages. At first, it feels good. You get what you want now, and you'll worry about it later. But later comes quick, and by then, the chains are already locked. Debt is the leash on your neck, and they yank it whenever you get too close to freedom. Miss one payment, they take your house. Miss another, they take your car. Miss another, and your whole life collapses. And the sickest part, most men do it to themselves. They brag about their house, their degree, their car, never realizing those shiny trophies are just anchors dragging them down. The house doesn't need to drag you back. You walk yourself back willingly, begging for more rope to wrap around your neck. Man, the system knows most of you will never fight back. They know you're too scared to lose the little comfort you have. That's why they feed you comfort like a drug. Comfort is the most effective weapon against men. Netflix, porn, junk food, cheap dopamine thrills, all distractions to keep you sedated. They don't need to whip you into submission anymore. They just keep you entertained, fat, tired, and lazy. A man who is comfortable will never risk anything, even if it means staying in chains. That's the design. They make sure you have just enough to survive, just enough to distract yourself, just enough to keep you docile. Comfort is the prison guard, and you're addicted to it. That's why the house always wins. Because you'd rather sit in comfort than walk through fire to get to freedom. Relationships are another table in this casino, and the house wins no matter what. They sell men the fantasy of love, the dream of building a life with someone, but they stack the rules so the system profits whether you win or lose. Divorce courts, child support, alimony. The house always gets a cut. Relationships aren't love anymore. They're contracts where the state plays referee and the man usually gets fucked. And while you're busy chasing romance or fighting for scraps in court, the house keeps pulling chips off the table. They've managed to monetize even the most personal parts of your life. Your love, your family, your relationships, all turn into revenue streams. And once again, you're not the player. You're the product. You're being packaged, sold, and drained while you convince yourself you're happy. Society doesn't reward strength anymore. It rewards obedience. Think about that. They tell you to keep your head down, follow the rules, stay safe. But safe is just another word for weak in this casino. They don't want strong men. Strong men break the game. Strong men flip tables. Strong men stop feeding the machine. That's why everything around you is engineered to weaken you. Shitty food to poison your body. Porn to drain your drive. Entertainment to rot your mind. A culture that celebrates softness, mediocrity, and compliance. They don't want you strong because strong men are uncontrollable. They want you weak enough to pull the lever but not dead, because a dead man doesn't pay taxes. Weak, docile, obedient. That's the formula. And most men play their part perfectly. The casino's biggest skill is distraction. Endless noise, endless bullshit to keep your attention locked. Sports, celebrity gossip, political scandals, bread, and circuses. The exact same trick used thousands of years ago, just repackaged with social media and 24-hour news. They drown you in nonsense, so you never have a second to think. Because if you ever sat in silence long enough, you'd see through the illusion. You'd see the bars. And that's dangerous to them. That's why they keep you too busy, too tired, too distracted to notice the chains on your neck. A thinking man is a dangerous man. So they flood you with garbage until your brain can't breathe. And you wonder why life feels empty. But here's the most dangerous lie of all. Hope. Hope is the carrot they dangle to keep you running in circles. They tell you one day it will get better. One day your hard work will pay off. One day the right job, the right leader, the right opportunity will save you. But that day never comes. Hope is not a gift. Hope is a leash. As long as you have hope, you'll never act. You'll keep playing, keep pulling the lever, even when deep down you know you're losing. Real change doesn't come from hope. It comes from action. But they know most men will never act as long as they're addicted to hope. And that's why the house always wins. The casino isn't just rigged, it's ruthless. It doesn't just want your money. It wants your time, your energy, your relationships, your soul. And when you're finished, when you're broken, when you've got nothing left, it won't thank you. It won't even notice. It'll replace you with another sucker and keep the lights flashing. That's the truth. The house always wins. The only question left is this. Are you going to keep playing a game you cannot win? Or are you ready to walk away and finally live? Man, if you really want to understand this rigged casino, you've got to stop looking at the flashing lights and start looking at control. Who controls the real currency of this system? Not money, not fame. Control. The system doesn't care about your happiness, your dreams, or your freedom. It only cares about how much control it has over you. Governments use laws and taxes. Banks use debt and interest. Corporations use your paycheck and the fear of losing it. Media uses fear, lust, and endless distraction. Together, they built a net so tight around your life you don't even realize you're trapped. And because the chains are invisible, most men never resist. They don't see the control, they just feel the pressure and call it stress. They call it bad luck. They call it life. But it's not life. It's a cage with neon lights, and you've been fooled into believing the cage is home. Now let's talk about money again, because that's their masterpiece. They make you sweat for it, grind for it, trade your time for it. But here's the reality. They print it whenever they want. They flood the system with cash when it suits them, and they choke it when it suits them. Your savings? Worthless. Your hard work? Axed to death. Your future? Drowned in inflation. You think you're earning, but you're not. You're renting your existence. The government owns your time. The banks own your future. The corporations own your present. And the cruelest part? The harder you chase money, the more trapped you become. You start running in a hamster wheel faster and faster, but you never leave the cage. Money was never freedom. In this casino, money is bait. And they dangle it in front of you until you're too old and too broken to do anything else. Even your health is a business to them. Don't fool yourself. They don't want you strong. They don't want you disciplined. They want you weak and dependent. They poison your food with sugar and chemicals. They pump you full of pills for every small discomfort. And they call it healthcare. But there's no care in it. It's not about keeping you healthy. It's about keeping you dependent. A healthy man can't be controlled. A weak, medicated man, he's easy. They feed you junk that destroys your body, then sell you energy drinks to keep you awake enough to keep working. They kill you slowly, then sell you prescriptions to keep you alive just long enough to keep paying. That's not healthcare. That's a fucking racket. Your body is not yours. Your body is their profit center. And as long as you stay hooked on their poison, you'll never have the energy to break free from the casino. Man, even your mind isn't safe. They figured out long ago that controlling what you think is more powerful than controlling what you do. That's why propaganda is baked into your school books, into your movies, into your social feeds. That's why advertising never stops. Why every screen around you screams for your attention. They don't just want to control your actions. They want to shape your beliefs. They make you argue about politics like it's a sport when both sides are owned by the same house. They make you worship celebrities, obsess over scandals, and drown in distractions while they keep the real game hidden. And here's the sickest part. Most men defend their programming. They will fight you to protect the lies that chain them. They'll call you crazy. They'll call you dangerous, all because they've been brainwashed so deeply they can't even see the truth anymore. That's the level of control we're talking about. And let's not forget the one thing they take from you first, your time. Time is the most valuable thing you'll ever have, but it's the first thing they steal. You give decades to a 9-to-5 that robs your youth. You waste hours every day scrolling, watching, arguing over bullshit that doesn't matter. They ration you weekends, holidays, vacations like they're doing you a favor. But those aren't gifts, they're scraps. Just enough to keep you breathing so you won't revolt. And by the time you realize how much of your life they've stolen, it's too late. Time doesn't come back. Money can be replaced, possessions can be replaced, but time is gone forever. And the casino knows it. They know as long as you waste your hours inside their system, you'll never have enough left to build your own. That's their genius. If you need proof that society is fake, just look at how people live. Most men don't live for themselves. They live for appearances. They work jobs they hate to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't even like. They drown in debt just to project an image. That house, that car, that lifestyle. It's not joy, it's status. And status is the drug the system sells you. You'll bankrupt yourself trying to look rich. You'll destroy yourself trying to look successful. You'll waste your life trying to look happy. And all the while, the house is cashing in on your stupidity. That's the joke. You're losing everything that matters while trying to look like you're winning. The system is so ruthless it even uses your instincts against you. They know you crave validation, so they give you platforms where strangers judge you with likes and comments. They know you crave love, so they turn relationships into contracts and legal traps. They know you crave meaning, so they flood you with religions, ideologies, and movements that keep you obedient. They hijack your instincts and turn them into chains. And because those chains feel familiar, most men never resist. They think life is supposed to feel this way. They think struggle and emptiness is normal. But it's not. You're not meant to feel like a pawn in someone else's game. You're meant to build your own empire. Instead, you've been conditioned to hand over your instincts, your drive, your soul to a machine that profits off every second of your existence. Man, the control is everywhere. It's in your food, your laws, your culture, your job, your relationships. That's why so few men ever escape. The chains are invisible and the comfort is seductive. Why fight when you can watch Netflix? Why rebel when you can scroll Instagram? Why resist when you can order takeout and pretend you're happy? That's the trick. They don't need violence anymore. They don't need force. They just need to keep you entertained, sedated, and weak enough to never ask why you feel so empty. That's why the house always wins. Not because it's smarter, not because it's stronger, but because you won't even fight. Man, stop pretending this is normal. This isn't life. This isn't freedom. This is absolute control. The casino doesn't lose. The house always wins. And until you wake up and see the bars, you'll keep sitting at their table, pulling their levers and wondering why the jackpot never comes. It was never there. The jackpot is the illusion, the bait, the dream they sell you to keep you hooked. The only way to win is to flip the table and walk away. But walking away isn't easy. It takes guts. It takes discipline. It takes the ability to throw away everything they told you was success. And most men don't have it. They'd rather stay in the comfort of their chains than face the pain of freedom. But let me tell you, the pain of freedom is the only pain worth feeling because it's the only pain that leads to life. Man, here's the truth you keep trying to run from. The casino will not save you, the system will not change for you, and nobody is coming to rescue you. If you stay at the table, you lose. End of story. The lights will keep flashing, the music will keep playing, the drinks will keep flowing, but the house will drain you until there's nothing left. You'll keep telling yourself you're just waiting for your chance, just waiting for your lucky break, but luck is a fairy tale for children. The house does not let you win big. The house lets you win enough to keep you loyal, enough to keep you distracted, enough to keep you coming back. And when you're finished, when you're drained, when you're broken, they will replace you with the next fool who thinks he has a shot. That's the cycle. That's reality. And until you accept it, you're fucked. Man, walking away is not easy, and that's why most men never do it. Walking away means rejecting everything they told you to chase. It means throwing comfort in the trash. It means facing fear, facing pain, facing the unknown. And most men don't have the balls for it. They cling to the chains because at least the chains are familiar. At least they know what to expect. But comfort is the biggest trap of all. Comfort kills ambition. Comfort kills strength. Comfort kills freedom. If you want to break out of the rigged casino, you must be willing to trade comfort for clarity. You must be willing to burn the fake map they gave you and draw your own. That takes discipline. That takes guts. That takes a mindset most men will never have. That's why the house always wins, because most men would rather sit in chains than walk through fire to freedom. Freedom is not free. Forget the patriotic slogans. Forget the bullshit they spoon-fed you. I mean, literally. Freedom costs you. It costs you security. It costs you acceptance. It costs you the approval of society. You will lose friends. You will lose family. You will lose the validation of people who are still locked inside the casino. And they will call you crazy, selfish, reckless. They will try to drag you back to the table because your freedom exposes their slavery. Your decision to walk away is a mirror they don't want to look into. It forces them to confront the fact that they never had the courage. That's the price, man. And most men are too scared to pay it. But if you want to breathe, if you want to own yourself, you have to pay. You have to stare the system in the face and say, fuck your rules, fuck your comfort, fuck your fake success. I'm not playing your game anymore. Once you walk away, you'll see everything clearer than ever. You'll see how fake the system is. You'll see how weak the players are. You'll see how much of your life was wasted chasing illusions that never mattered. And it'll piss you off. It'll make you want to scream, to smash everything, to burn the whole casino to the ground. But it'll also make you strong. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Once you taste freedom, you can't go back. That's when you start stacking your own chips. That's when you start creating your own table. That's when you stop begging for scraps and start claiming what's yours. You stop chasing illusions and start building reality. That's when you stop being a pawn and start being a player for real. Not at their table. Not under their rules. But in your own life, under your own command. Man, this is the cold, hard truth. The world is a rigged casino, and you were never meant to win. That's not pessimism. That's reality. But reality doesn't have to be your death sentence. It can be your weapon. It can be your key. Most men will never use it because most men would rather stay asleep. But you have a choice. You can keep playing their game, pulling their levers, bleeding your life out one day at a time. Or you can wake the fuck up, walk away, and build your own table. The system will fight you. The players will mock you. The house will punish you. But none of it matters. Freedom is worth it. Freedom is the only jackpot that counts. And the only way to hit it is to stop playing a game that was never yours to begin with. So, here's the final question, man. Are you going to die a slave at their table, clapping for scraps, smiling at crumbs, wasting your life in a rigged game? Or are you ready to stand up, flip the fucking board, and finally live life on your own terms?